Hello guys, welcome back. So bike weight on usual flat terrain really is very negligible and doesn't make much of a difference at all, and it's something that I personally don't focus on. However, today I am going to be doing a hill climbing event straight up a hill where it's all about power to weight and basically the weight of your bike and yourself. So I've only got one bike. It is my TT bike, the Giant Trinity. We are going to see if we can turn this into a super hill climbing bike, strip it down, cut all the weight off it, and just go absolute beast mode. Let's go and see if we can do this. So the initial weight of the bike is coming in at exactly 8.76 kilos. To be honest, I'm quite happy with that weight. I thought it was going to be a little bit more. The best place to start is probably by stripping down the entire front end. I don't need the aero extensions, the pads, the riders, I need none of it. So I'm going to get rid of all of that and see how much weight we can strip off, because all I'm going to be riding on are the bullhorns. That's where I'm able to hold the most power, be the most comfortable, and ultimately go the fastest up the hill. The good thing about this front end is that I can literally take it off in one piece with one Allen key. It's quick, it's easy, efficient. That means I can turn this bike into a hill climbing machine in literally 20 minutes. Boom. There you go. The entire front end is off just like that. It's literally held on with these screws here, and the whole thing comes off in one piece. Take the spacers out, and then I'm just left with the base bar. So if we order the quick weigh of the bike now, it comes in at 7.56 kilos. So we've knocked off a right chunk already just by removing the front end. I've now just removed the sort of storage bento box from the top of the bike. I've removed any excess bolts and nuts that I've got on the bike. So this is from the bottle cages that I don't actually have a bottle cage on the down tube, but the bolts were still in there, so I removed that. Removed some bolts off the front end, which I don't need because they're not holding anything in place anymore because the sort of extensions aren't there. So I've removed pretty much any of the heavy bits I can from the front of the bike. I'm now going to move to the rear of the bike, see if I can make any adjustments with the cassette, the chain ring, even with the gearing, the saddle, and just see what we can do to sort of strip this weight down as much as possible. I've also opted to switch in this super light saddle here, which is the Physique Antares, the current saddle I've got on the bike at the moment, which is a time trial specific saddle. It's got steel railings, and it's the ISM PR1, which currently weighs 0.32 kilos, whereas this bad boy right here weighs 0.21. So I'm knocking off basically a third of the weight just by switching the saddles. For me, it's quick, easy, and I had this laying about as well, so it just makes sense. Hopefully I don't compromise comfort too much, but at the end of the day, it's such a quick, short event that I don't think it really matters what saddle I'm using. I could literally be sat on a brick and I think I could get away with it. So it's all about weight, for me anyway, at the end of the day. Let me know what you think on this. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Or do you think there is a degree of comfort that needs to be had still? I'm also going to change my cassette at the rear. I'm going to change it from an 11 speed to a 10 speed. I basically save the disadvantage in weight from having another cog, which I don't think is particularly necessary. I could also do this without my electronic gearing, so I could actually do it in one gear, but I think that'd be pretty stupid just to save the weight of a battery and the actual group set, which isn't actually that heavy at all. And I think it's more important to have the gears and to be able to switch if I hit that absolute sort of like burning spot where I can't pedal anymore than just trying to, be a little bit arrogant and do it in one gear, because I think that's just stupid, and no one does a hill climbing event on a fixed gear bike. Although I might be wrong, I don't know. The one problem we do have at the moment though is that I've only got a one bite on my bike, and I don't really want to buy a whole new set of chain rings for this event. Thing is, well, with these events though, you're pushing so much power, I almost think I could get away with it. It might not be the most effective and efficient way, but I certainly think, if you're going balls to wall for a few minutes, you might be able to get away with just having that single tooth chain ring. I've heard of people do this before. It's my first one. I'm not really sure. I don't want to look like a fool on the hill, stop and have to walk to the top, because that would be pretty embarrassing. But I'll have to think about that and see what I'll do, because it is also lighter at the moment with obviously that single tooth chain ring. I don't have to have a front derailleur, I don't have to have an inner tooth. It's all just far lighter, so it's, I guess, slightly more efficient for me. But I've got to make sure I can actually push the gear, because that's just as important, if not more important than weight. One thing I did forget to mention is that I'm going to be removing actually my skewers for the wheels and putting a set of aero skewers in. Now I'm doing this from a weight point of view versus aerodynamics. Like when you go up a hill, aerodynamics is very, very negligible. It doesn't matter that much. The reason for me doing this though is because the aero skewers are quite a bit lighter than just those traditional ones on the bike. Now I'll show you on the screen so you can see what I mean, but I'm sure it'll make sense once you see it. I have also opted to tape over all the sort of holes I've now got on the bike as a result of removing all the bolts. It just looks better, and if I can smoothen out the smallest bit of wind flow, then that's great. To be honest, it's more from my point of view. I hate going out on a bike that's just got a shitload of holes all over it from screws that have been removed. So a bit of electrical tape has done the job nicely and it's going to clean it up. I've really managed to actually strip this bike down really nicely now, and I'm really happy with how it's gone. As you'll see on the screen, I've managed to take off more than I actually thought I'd be able to do. Bolts, little things, bento boxes, extensions, a lot of things that I thought I would need, I've managed to strip off, and it was actually far easier than I thought it would be. I'll show you a picture of the actual final bike now so you can see it. I still need to switch the saddles off, I still need to switch the aero skewers in. I've changed the cassette, so that's all in now. I think I've decided I'm just going to do it in the single tooth chainring. It is what it is. I feel like it's going to be possible. If it's not, well then all for me. I'm an arrogant dick and I should have changed it. That's my fault completely, and I apologise in advance, because if there's people watching this that do hill climbing races on a daily basis and you're looking at me like, what an absolute fool, then yeah, you're probably right. I've tried to do this with the sort of the bike build I've got at the moment without having to spend excess money on other things. It's a bit of a fun event. If I end up walking, I end up walking. But before we finish, let's get the final weight of the bike and what we've managed to get it down to. I'm looking forward to this, I'm not going to lie. So I managed to get the final weight of the bike down to 6.70 exactly kilos. I'm pretty happy with that, I'm not going to lie. Considering this is a time trial bike and it's got slightly deeper wheels on that I would preferably use, I'm not buying new wheels, I'm not going that extreme. You know, I'm quite happy with that. And to be fair, it's a pretty good weight saving. More than I actually thought. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think that was a good weight saving? Do you think it wasn't? How do you think this how do you think this hill climb's going to go? Good, bad? Let me know what you guys think. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.